Welcome to all. Today we'll read adjective or relative clause and adverb clause. The important, your confusion will be cleared. Okay. So what is adjective or relative clause? Some dependent clause are called adjective or relative clause, which modifies noun or pronoun in the main clause, and they act as an adjective. Some adjective clauses are also known as relative clause because it modifies noun and pronoun in the main clause, that is antecedent. Okay? Antecedent. Antecedent means preceding things, preceding parts of speech, that is purvapada. So, adjective clause begins with pronoun like who, whom, which, that, whose. Okay. Adjective clause begins with pronoun like who, whom, which, that, whose. So it is also known as relative clause. For example, there is a blackboard, MC, which is a black, I see. A blackboard, that is noun phrase, or say antecedent part. Antecedent part, and which is relative pronoun, and it is relative clause or say adjective clause. Okay. So adjective clause modifies noun phrase blackboard, and relative clause modifies antecedent part, that is blackboard. So it is adjective clause and also relative clause. Another example, the people, that is noun phrase or say antecedent part, and who is the relative pronoun, and that is relative clause or say an adjective clause. It modifies the noun phrase the people. It modifies the antecedent the people. So it is adjective clause and also relative clause. Another example, this is the table that man has made. Noun phrase and antecedent part, relative pronoun, and that is relative clause or say an adjective clause. It modifies noun phrase, that is adjective clause. It modifies antecedent part, that is noun phrase, which is known as relative clause. I am clear? Relative clauses are two kinds of relative clauses, such as defining relative clauses, identifying relative clauses, describing relative clauses, or restricting relative clauses. Similarly, non-defining relative clauses, non-identifying relative clauses, non-describing relative clauses, non-restrictive relative clauses. Okay? Then comes what is defining and non-defining relative clauses. Defining or identifying. Okay, relative clauses. Defining relative clauses, that is dependent clauses, which modifies noun or pronoun in a sentence, which is essential defining the noun phrase in the main clause. Okay? Defining or identifying the related clause means which clause is essential for defining the nouns or pronouns in the main clause. It gives essential information. It gives essential information. It is essential because if we omit them, the meaning of the sentence cannot be fulfilled. For example, I hate example. I hate people who waste their time. Noun phrase or antecedent part. Relative pronoun. Waste their time, that is relative clause. It is defining because it is essential for the noun phrase or antecedent people. Okay? If you omit wasted time, there is the meaning of the sentence cannot be fulfilled. If you omit this, the meaning of the sentence cannot be fulfilled. So, it gives essential information about the noun phrase. Okay? I have a brother. Noun phrase. Okay? Or say antecedent part, who is relative pronoun and is very kind, that is relative clause. Because it gives essential information, a brother. If you omit is very kind, the meaning of the sentence cannot be fulfilled. Okay? So, next, but question that in a competitive examination, some question will come that is without relative pronoun. Okay. Or only for the competitive examinations, general examination that does not come. Okay. That is zero relative clause. For example, okay, this is noun phrase or a antecedent part. Okay, standing there, zero relative clause. Okay, because relative pronoun who is missing. Okay, the place, noun phrase or say antecedent part. Okay, you are living in zero relative clause. Zero relative clause because place where relative pronoun is missing. This sort of question will come only complete agents. Okay, next, non-defining relative clause. non-defining or identifying relative clause. Which clause or say non-defining clause is a clause which gives extra information of the noun phrase in a sentence. Okay, that has already been defined. Okay, for example, that is say Promodo, who is my classmate, is very honest. Very honest. Mr. Patnaik, who is our class teacher, has been ill. Okay. That is Promodo, noun phrase. Who relative pronoun. Who is my classmate? It is not defined relative clause. Because it is very honest. Who is very honest? Pramod, which has already been defined. So it is non-relative clause. But question that non-defining clause separate from the noun phrase or nouns by comma. Comma is used in a non-defining clause. But defining clause, suppose this is the blackboard. I have already told you. The blackboard, which is black, which is black. Okay. Which is black? Defining relative clause. Because in defining relative clause, commas are not used. No comma is used in a defining relative clause. But comma is used in a non-defining clause. Okay? It is separated from the noun phrase by comma. Okay? Mr. Patnaik, who is your class teacher. Non-defining relative clause and noun phrase or say antecedent part, relative pronoun. Okay? This is the comma. This is the non-defining relative clause. Comma is used. Okay? It gives extra information of the nouns or noun phrase. But in a defined clause, no comma is used. It gives essential information. Okay. Next comes adverb clause. What is the adverb clause? Adverb clause is a dependent clause which does the work of an adverb. Okay, that is adverb clause. Or say it modifies verb, adjective, or say adverbs in a sentence. For example, See, adverb clause modifies verb or say verb and adverb. Okay, it modifies things. Okay, so it sings nicely. Adverb nicely modifies things. That is modifies verb. Okay. Say very tasty. Very adverb. Tasty adjective. Okay. Adverb modifies adjective. Tasty chocolate. Adverb modifies tasty. Okay. Next, quite. Adverb and adverb. Quite adverb modifies and another adverb clearly. So adverb in a sentence modifies a verb, modifies an adjective, modifies an adverb in a sentence. Okay, next. 8 types of adverb clause. Okay. Number 1, adverb clause of time. Common adverbs of times are when, whenever, now, then, before, after, since, ago, soon, late, early, late, until, today, tomorrow. Yes. Okay. This is the time adverbs. Okay. For example, when I go to bed, this is time adverbial clause of a time. Okay. This is the main clause. Okay. So when is used? Adverb clause of a time. This is the main clause. But if you all the questions, answer of the all questions of a WH were like when. That is known as adverb clause of a time. For example, I go to school, I put out the light. When you put out the light. When you put out the light. That is when I go to bed. Question when. Okay. Another example. That is main clause. When the bell rings, clause of time. Okay. Adverb clause of time, main clause. Put question, answer, questions of W like when. When does the bell ring? Answer, when you go to school. Okay. So question, answer, the questions of W like when. Okay. Next, adverb clause of place. Adverb clause of place and where, wherever, everywhere, here, there, far, near, else. Okay. Examples. That is, people followed him. MC. Adverb male clause of a place. So answer the questions using the WH like where. Okay. People followed him wherever he went. Where? Where did people follow him? Why did people follow him? Wherever he went. Okay. Where did people follow him? Wherever he went. Okay. Question. WH. Where? Okay. This is the adverb clause of a place. Next. Adverb clause of manner. The conjunctions like how, as if, as though are used. For example, he treated me, main clause. Okay? As if I was a stranger. Adverb, where clause of manner. Okay? Adverbial clause of manner. Okay? As if. Conjunction. Okay? Answer the questions like the double word how. How did he treat me? As if I was a stranger. Okay? Question how? How did he treat me? As if I was a stranger. Okay? Next. Adverb clause of a condition. Related some conditions. Okay? Conditions like if, unless, in case, as long as are used. For example, unless you work hard, that is clause of a condition. Clause of a condition. Okay? You cannot succeed. That is main clause. Okay? So, adverb clause of condition. Lay down some conditions. Less some definite conditions. Unless you work hard, you cannot succeed. Next. Adverb clause of a reasoning clause. Usually it gives the reasons which is mentioned. Okay? Condition like because, since, as much as, therefore, hence are used. I could not go to exhibition because I was busy. So because I was busy, that is of a, that is reason. Okay. I could not go to the exhibition. MC. Okay. Question, why? Why I could not go to the examination? Because I was busy. Okay. Next, adverb clause of a purpose. Conditions are used like so that, in order that. Example, I write in my diary, main clause. So that clause of a purpose. Clause of a purpose. Okay. Question, why? Say I wrote in my, what did I write in my diary? Why did I write in my diary? Or why I wrote in my diary? Why did I write in my diary? So that I could not forget. So that I could not forget. Okay. This is the adverb clause of a purpose. Next. Point 7. Adverb clause of comparison or degree. How much, how little, how many? That is question. It is used after then other so words. They use after conjunction then other so words. Okay. And answer the questions. WH word, how much, how little, how many. Okay. For example, teacher explained better than the pupils. Hope. Adverbial clause of comparison. Okay. This is the main clause. Question: how much did the teacher explain? Or how much the teacher explained? Better than the public who? Okay. Gopal is elder, MC. Ella clause of a comparison. Okay. Gopal is elder than 2 years from his brother. Okay. So that is how many years elder? How many years Gopal elder from his mother? 2 years. Okay. Next comes adverb clause of concession. Concession means, say, you allow something or admit something or give up something. Okay, that is concession. In a regional language, anugrah. Okay. Concession like though, although, even though, however, no matter, how, whether are used. Even though he is pure. Concession. He is pure, poor, he is honest. Main clause. So, concession, that is even though. Even though he is pure, he is honest. Okay. Main clause, other clause of concession. Thanks to all for watching my video. Please subscribe, like and share it. Thanks to all.